Welcome to the Corona Chronicles, you guys. It's your girl T Gray. I have with me Nate Jackson. Hey, Nate.
What's up, Queen?
How are you?
I'm all right. I'm copacetic, doing my thing, trying to stay afloat, keep my head above water.
Listen, I know that this coronavirus has affected comedians in so many different ways, and some of you have come up with just crazy, funny ideas and new ways to put out content. So before I even get into my interview for real, can we talk about the girl on the twerk circus with the ring of fire? Like,
yeah, if you want to, we can talk about it.
What is going on with this twerk circus that you're doing now?
Okay, so here's the thing, right? So first of all, my entire industry is in shambles. Yeah. But I did 2 pay-per-view internet shows, not through Zoom. I used a different platform. It was legit pay-per-view. It was kind of like YouTube, but the video didn't start until people paid. And I was able to like make a few dollars and feel like just some sense of comfort right now during these times. And so then it was like, well, everyone is bored. We ain't got nothing to do. And I look online and Tory Lanez has people twerking, and Michael Blackson has people twerking, and Boosie is paying people to do sexual favors online. And I'm like, all this is wild as hell, man. But in a kind of icky way, you know. And I was like, what can we do that's like just fun and just stupid, like nobody's ever seen it before? And so I came up with this thing called Granny's Only Twerk Contest. Right. And so it was only grannies. Like you had to have proof of a grandbaby, and then really you didn't even have to twerk. You just dance and we have fun and we celebrate Black not cracking and beauty and agelessness in the African American community. And it was crazy. And we had a fine ass 41-year-old granny won. And she had like a 5-month-old grandbaby. We were like, everyone's like, you can't be a grandma. And right, she was. Right. And so she won. And then the next week we did it, and then it was like, oh, it's gonna be grannies only. But it got slow because it was late at night and the grannies was all in bed. And so one of my homeboys, who's financially quite stable, was like, look, I'll put up $1,000 right now if you open it up to 30 and up. Right? So I was like, all right, fine. We opened up to 30 and up, and then it got fun. But it started walking the line between fun and a little too much nasty, right? So I had this whole moral dilemma where I was like, I don't think I'm gonna do it no more because I'm not trying to throw no damn strip show. You know, me personally. I know there's plenty of dudes that will jump all over there like, hell yeah, I'll host it. But the way my mom and dad are set up, so I was raised just a touch different, and I was like, let's do it. Like let's just call it. So I really thought about it for like 3 or 4 days, and then I decided, I said, I really want it to be not just butt cheeks. I need it to be like more than that. It has to be, something has to be fantastic. There has to be an element of what's going to happen next. I don't know, and the viewers don't know. And so I came up with Twerk Circus. And as soon as I made the logo and threw that on there and started calling it Twerk Circus, it was official. Officially was a brand, officially was something that could be established and people could tell their friends about, and that's what started happening. And the following, the people that were watching it went from like maybe 100 people were watching the live to now we're averaging 700, and we tip over like 1,300 people per live, and then and that's watching live. And then after, it gives you the stats on who total watched, and we've got all the way up to 37,000 people that popped in, popped out, stuff like that. Yeah. And so 2 weeks ago, a girl from the Dominican Republic named Cherry 19, she did a fire show in her house where she twerked and she poured hot wax all over the place. And it really walked the line between like sexy and the devil. And she did like she poured some line right there. She poured some kind of oil around her in a half circle and lit that on fire. And so there was like a fire circle in her house. And then she turned the lights off and danced and twerked in the fire. And like she won pretty much by a landslide, right? Now, mind you, the way the show is set up is there's judges. I host it and judge and crack jokes all the way through. We play music. The judges give their input. They really, and all the, like, I'd say 90% of the judges are women. So that way it doesn't come off as like some big chauvinistic mean show. Like I just saw a clip of Boosie the other day saying him and Michael Blackson gonna have their girls do a twerk contest against each other. And Boosie was like, I'm gonna have one of the girls get smashed
with the horse in the front yard.
But nobody was saying the word girls, right? It's my bitches versus your bitches. I got a bitch that's gonna she'll sit in front of a horse for 20,000. I'm like, okay. I think the girls who've been dancing on my shit would beat them, period, because they do more than just twerk. There's fire, there's water, there's pots, pans,
like all the elements.
There's a girl that twerked while she painted a whole picture, and she sent me the picture. We're gonna auction it off. We're gonna get her some money. There's a girl who twerked and was on stilts, like she I guess she was a professionally trained clown. And so she put her outfit on and she went in. So we've seen so much cool stuff. We've seen a girl use a stripper pole with roller skates on and play a trumpet all at the same time. She's now on Michael Blackson. She's at Michael Blackson's every day now. Like I see her on his live. I'm like, oh, okay.
So you have a firm cross between America's Got Talent and twerking.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. Once the Dominican girl won, right now, because the way that we do the prize money is the viewers just send the money to my Cash App. And I don't take $1 of it, and I send it off to whoever wins. So the girl from the Dominican, the money, it was incredible, but the money went all the way up to $5,269.
Wow.
Okay. And it was fierce competition that evening, but she won when she did the fire show. And I sent it. And that's the equivalent of 13 months of salary in the Dominican.
Wow.
Based on the conversion. She literally wrote me, was like, you're a gift from God, and I'm going to give back to the homeless and the poor and the needy, and I'm giving my tithes. And I was like, ain't you the one that did the fire dance? She's giving her tithes and all of this stuff. So the word got out. So then the following week, we had 17 Dominican girls in a row. They couldn't even speak English. They didn't even have Cash App, and they were all trying to get some money like they heard about this girl made this past week. Somehow that got over into Jamaica now, and so we have had Dominicans versus Jamaicans and Americans the whole time. And I already have messages from 3 girls from Guyana. So I don't think it's America's Got Talent no more. I think it's a full-on international twerk contest with music, laughs, biscuits, buns, and yams. That's what I say. So
now, with everything going on in comedy, did you ever think that there was going to be something on social media that you would do that would gravitate to pretty much the whole world?
Well, yeah, but that just comes from my own confidence and that I have things in me innately that I feel like in a time of trouble or even in not a time of trouble, I'm going to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? I'm a thinker, and we're going to think outside the box. And Twerk Circus is, as wild as it sounds, it kind of flips as being a blessing because it's fun, it's entertaining, it's not trashy. And then this past week, I added a different element where I was like, listen, whatever money you send, I'm giving to the girls just the same. But if you want to tip the host, put that in the description too. So they actually put, people were sending $1 or $2 or whatever, and it added up. And I was like, look at God. So actually now, as of Tuesday of this week, I can say it is a legitimate possible way for me to make a few dollars, So, and in the grand scheme, like normally, if it wasn't coronavirus, it wouldn't be enough money that it was to look at twice. But with no income and my industry in shambles and all that, every dollar coming in is like, whew, figure something out. You know what I mean?
I know prior to this happening, you were working on a comedy club and doing just so many things. How has that like come to a screeching halt, or are people still working, still doing construction and just waiting for the open up?
The latter. So prior to this, we were working on the comedy club. Then coronavirus hit right before we were going to open. So we pushed the opening date back and we slowed down we were working at a pace that was just magnificent. We had like 7 teams of different contractors working: plumbing, mechanical, electrician, general contractors, all at the same time, as tilers and people who were building the bar and people who were building the upstairs office. All that was happening at once. Like, you would walk in and it would feel like you were looking at a beehive. Everybody, zip, 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 you know. And so we slowed that all the way down to like 1 team per day, with maybe 4 or 5 people there. And so it slowed us down all the way to where at this point today, there's probably, if I estimate, with people maybe working 5 hours instead of putting in full days, there's probably 3 days left to completion.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, everything is, I mean, the restrooms are done, the upstairs are done. I'm talking about painted, carpeted, insulated, toilets, all that are in, plumbing is all done, paint's on walls. We're doing things like fixing little nicks on the wall. And I mean, they're sitting there. Today, they're building the tables and setting the chairs up. The club is just sitting there. So when we're allowed to go, and we, you know, when we get the green light and we can go from the state, then literally the biggest comedy club in Pacific Northwest history will be available for people to come to and have a great time.
Well, that is fantastic. I know that in the beginning of things opening up, you know, it's going to be some different rules. It's going to be social distancing probably still in place and things of that nature. How do you think that the social distancing aspect is going to play out with owning a club?
Well, there's a couple of things. One, I think it's from person to a person in regards to what each person would like for themselves. There's some people who ain't wearing no mask, think that this is a conspiracy theory and could care less. They're down to sit right next to you. That would be on you to be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Then they'll gladly move, kind of like secondhand smoke. The other thing is, we're taking our precautions in regards to, right now it's just been, you know, it's been a meeting of the minds about which ways we can go or what we can do. We find out essentially which phase, they did phases here in Washington, which phase we're allowed to open. And then at that phase, the amount of occupancy, and they're doing it in percentage form. So you can, they may say, if you can hold 300, you can have 150. That way everyone can be spread out. But to me, it doesn't make sense to spread everybody out. And here's why, because you have family you've been quarantining with, right? You guys already been around each other. So why wouldn't y'all sit close to each other in the showroom? You need 6 feet between you guys and the next group.
Right.
So that leaves big pockets of people that are sitting together, like 30 here, 20 there, 6 there, 4 there, husband and wife there. And then people have distance from other people from there. So we're looking at, you know, profit and loss statements, kind of basically like hypothetical, you know, how you run your numbers. And we're just trying to see what is feasible, because the business model supports being open kind of full throttle, you know what I mean? And so, you know, we never thought like, well, what if it was half full?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, when we did our business model, we crunched numbers as best as we could before being open. And it looked like at 38% was break even. So at 50% is, and that's 38% of if we just do one Thursday, 2 Friday, 2 Saturday. But if we did, say we added a Sunday or we had a Wednesday or something like that, now that same that same amount of people, we're getting more people, but 38% was our break even. And so that's a sign of hope, you know what I mean? But we got to get open, you know what I mean? We want to make sure that, one, our staff is safe, the people are safe and comfortable with laughing. So we're looking at buying some UV lights that run a cleaning cycle at night. So every single day, the club is brand new, been cleaned to, you know, hospital standards by the UV lights that kill all the germs and viruses in the room. They aren't even that expensive. And then also the cleaning crew would come in before the lights go on. The cleaning crew would come in and probably put in 2 to 3 hours each night, if not each night, then at the end of each weekend. And then gloves, masks. We're looking at having some fabric screen printed so that everybody that comes can have a mask that says Super Funny Comedy Club on it a few times, and just turn it into a branding opportunity and have fun, you know. And then it comes down to the other level of comedians' willingness to travel to the market and, you know, fly and put themselves in a circulation room, circulated air pod, which is an airplane, to come to our market to then perform for the weekend. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of layers to it, and it's difficult to try and tackle. But the main thing that needed to happen was the club needed to be finished.
Right.
And so we're walking right up on that. And I mean, I literally, before I was on this call with you, I was on a pretty in-depth, complex call about the SBA loan paycheck protection thing that they've been talking about offering. And they had run out of money, and now they got new money, and now they're talking about a new $3 trillion. And now they're like, it looks like the people in power, at least on the Democratic side, are trying. They see the need to get some money to the people because it's pretty much the only thing that's going to keep from violence breaking out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so besides this show here, I also have a podcast, and I was just on there last night talking about a gentleman. He used to be on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, maybe a year or two ago. He has a trucking business, and then so he got $2 million and some change in the SBA loan, but then went and bought jewelry, bought a new car, paid off child support. Like he spent, of the $2 million, he spent 1.5 like that. You know what I mean?
Personal stuff.
He didn't do nothing for his staff. He has drivers. He didn't do anything for the drivers. Like this is unfortunate, but people who already had a hard time getting those loans, things like that now make it even harder. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, I think that's for sure. But I think that what happens in situations like that is that the chicken's going to come home to roost on him. Like, that's impossible to get away
he's
with.
Going to jail.
Because when you say what you need the money for, that's why they give it to you. And then when you go spend it on something else, that's fraud. So that's what's going to happen to him. So I hope he kept his receipts for everything and can undo what he did and pay his people back and bring people whole. Because that's terrible. You know what I mean? Like, he just punched his ticket to hell over a car and some jewelry. So, and for what? So you can look hella fly while everyone's inside? Like, nobody's out. That makes no sense. You know what I mean? So that's not what's going to happen over here. I mean, I'm on the up and up with mine. Like, what we asked for, what I just submitted for, is legitimately what we need to make sure that we're good, and that my staff is good, my employees are good, my staff is friends. So I have no desire to be like, screw all those little peons. Like, no, I'm like, I need to make sure Anjane's straight. I need to make sure that Joey's straight. I need to make sure, you know what I'm saying? So therein lies the rub, where, you ask for it and you be honest about what you need. But look at all the big companies that got SBA loans that gave it back. Yeah. There's a list of like 60 companies that were like, wait, why would the government give us $10 million? We're good. We have 50 branches. Like, we have been good. We'll give it back. Give this to someone who's really in need. You know what I mean? So I think there's a certain level of, that's the opposite of what you're talking about. You have somebody that took advantage of the system and is spending the money crazy. And then you have other people who are so on the up and up about it. They said, listen, we honestly don't need the help, but thank you. And they gave it back. Now, this is called the Love Below Sex Talk. Are we going to talk about some fucking, or how does this work? You only talk about people fucking up money. I want to talk about some acid.
So, yeah, it's all of that. It's all of that. I'm going to tell you, this week, for real, I ain't even going to front on you. Like, this week, I have been in a whole nother mode. And everybody that I've done an interview with has been like, well, what the fuck? D-Lay was like, but this is about sex. You brought your sex face. I was like, but once we start talking about some real shit, like, I like to just keep that flow going. But since
some women like that shit, they be like, that is sexy. To see that nigga talking about that shit was sexy though.
Let me tell you something. There's nothing women like more than a man who handles his business. Okay? Fuck the fact that your shirt is a little janky and you ain't got no shape up right now. We like that you handle your business.
I'll tell you right now, this shirt ain't shit, and I don't even know where the hell my barber is. But you know what? To me, it didn't matter what the shirt looked like. It mattered what the shirt said. And this
Right.
is the club logo. So I'm down to wear it until it is wrinkly, ashy, the collar is blown out. I don't care. It got me on it. And that, to me, that is way more important than having, say it was Nike or whatever brand somebody's repping. I'm repping the club. I'm repping what we've built. And there's only there's less than 10, I want to say. I haven't sat down and made a list, but there's less than 10 Black-owned clubs in the world.
And yes,
You could say,
in
I
the
mean, if you
U.S.,
don't
in the
count,
U.S.
if you don't,
definitely. In the
right.
U.S.
I mean, if we don't count Africa and all the clubs and stuff they have over there and call them Black-owned, if you're talking about American descendants of slavery, there is less than 10. And so I think it's a massive accomplishment, and I'm super proud of it. I'm super proud of everybody who saw my vision and believed in it and seen what I've already built over 15 years and said, we want to take this to another level and do this for the community. Now the timing, it just fucking blows. But if everything is all right, then we'll, if we can open up and people can hang out, they're gonna come hang out, because what they don't understand while they put entertainment in the last phase is, during the Great Depression, the entertainment business was one of the last to struggle, because people take their last dollar. Like, am I gonna die with this in my pocket, or would I rather go see a movie? Fuck it, I'm out. Like, I might as well go have fun with it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the entertainment field, in reality, Broadway thrived during the Depression. Vaudeville thrived during the Depression, and so that's where I'm like, people are nipping at the butt. Man, I had a sign of hope the other day that was so strong. I've shared it with a bunch of people, but there was a comedian in the Bay Area, and there was a show that was like supposed to be for one family and have 20 people or something like that at it, and they did it in a private location, and everybody was sitting all apart or whatever, and they got to talking about it and telling people they're coming and saying, hey, this is going on or whatever, and fucked around and had between 80 and 100 people show up that were like, we don't give a fuck. We want to be able to watch a show, laugh, have fun, get our minds off the bullshit. Like, it was packed, right? And the people who wanted to socially distance, they did that. And the people who didn't give a shit sat all up on each other and laughed all night long and had a good time. Now, is it healthy? I don't know. But the point is, there is a legitimate percentage of society that's like, I get it, man, but it's time for us to be able to relax and kick it and get out and do stuff. And comedy is a good form of that, because it's not like you got a bunch of sweaty people all around you, and you know what I mean?
Right.
So if the place takes the precautions that it should take, and then it's a different story. Maybe I saw a very successful show done in Phoenix where a guy rented out an old movie drive-in. And they had a comedy show where everybody got to sit in their own cars and tune into the radio station that the show was on, and they all laughed and watched the guy do his thing. And so that's
dope. Somebody needs to bring that back. Somebody needs to have a drive-in comedy joint. I would support that all summer long.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't see why drive-in movies aren't already being tripled down on as a place to come back to, because we can't go sit in the theater.
Too many people was fucking at the drive-in.
Yeah, but we be fucking in the movies.
Listen, so everybody can't fit in them seats, Nate. Everybody can't fit in them seats.
They should just embrace that and be like, look, we're doing a midnight show and we're handing out condoms. Fuck it. Y'all gonna fuck anyway. That's the only way to keep babies from being named after Twilight characters.
They already about to be named after the coronavirus.
Yeah. Ronage. It's coming.
All of that. So
toilet paper shit.
Has the coronavirus impacted your sex life in any way? Has it been a hindrance? Has it been a plus? Learn something, didn't learn something?
I mean, yeah, I can't smash. I'm learning a whole bunch about myself. I'm like, damn, it's not that I was driven by the buns, but god damn, this shit is crazy. So, it really makes you selective about who you with, because it's like, are you being safe? Are you practicing? Now, I'm not talking about sexually safe. Shit, are you at kickback parties and in contact with 75 people and shit? Like, could you possibly be asymptomatic? And I am hitting you, and you in my face, I'm like, nigga, that's all the bullshit coming right out your mouth, hitting me in my sinuses. Now I done got the Rona.
But isn't it crazy, though, that people now are putting more stock into whether or not somebody has coronavirus? Like, Okay, but you had this whole long ass list of STDs while you was out here fucking all these hoes. All them
Yeah, but
STDs still there.
coronavirus ain't got no cure. And the other thing is, motherfuckers be having STDs and living their life. The people be riding bikes in the commercials, looking all happy and shit. This corona's fucking niggas up, and if they got the type of body or whatever pre-existing conditions, it's fucking people up in less than goddamn a week. You know what I'm saying? Look how many people smoke cigarettes and they're like, I ain't gonna die today from it. Like, we have a weird rationale about this shit. I saw a guy come out the airport, move his mask, smoke a cigarette, and then jaywalk. I'm like, nigga, you just risked your life 3 times. What's the mask for? You know? But when I see a beach party with 100 people or like motherfuckers in the parking lot and everybody's kicking it like it's no, I'm like, all them niggas got AIDS. That's the only way. If you got something badder than this, that's the only way you would be kicking it right now. That's the way I see it. Yeah. And it helps keep me inside. So you don't foresee yourself sneaking out just to go get a little bit? You ain't gonna put the mask and gloves on, go see nice party? What is that safe? I don't know if it's safe, but some people are risking it for that. Some people feel like, the sex is worth the risk. And then you have a good majority who like, you know what, I'll just stay. And for a lot of people, the priority or the level of importance in sex in their lives have now changed. Where people used to chase it all the time, gotta have it. I'm like, you know what? Let me rethink this and let me rethink my, how they operate. Like, do you feel like it'll impact how you operate with women after the virus is over? I think after the virus is over, everybody gonna be fucking like rabbits. Just because we get to socially interact again. Mm. You know what I'm saying? It's just what it is. People, what it's doing is it's giving people a new appreciation of the life they had before. I would gladly go sit in LA traffic now. Like, hell yeah, they could turn the music up and fucking relax. Like, let's just, okay, I'll get there when I get there. Before, that was like, oh my God, traffic. Like, it makes you appreciate that shit. It also is weeding a lot of the bullshit out of people's lives. Because when you're just out the house all the time, you encounter a lot of different people. And you got people in your life that really shouldn't be. They ain't got no place. They just weighing you down. But now everybody's staying in the house. You only talk to who you call and who call you. You have no third party interferences or nothing. So a lot of people's lives have been purified by this. That's one. Two, I think a lot of people, and this is my own opinion, but I think a lot of people are finding out how much money they were wasting walking out the door, buying Starbucks every day, buying this and that, or a candy bar here, or eating fast food for lunch, or buying, like, doing all of that. Like, staying home forces you to budget. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of us who, if you had any form of income still coming in, or if you had something to sit on when you started, you've been huddling on that. And you've been able to, like, see how slow you can spend and how much you can keep. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people are learning. I think there's a lot of people who are realizing, man, I should have been working from home this whole time. Like, working from home wouldn't be so bad if I didn't have to do it. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because who wants to go sit in traffic for 30 minutes one way and an hour and a half the other when traffic is all stacked? So now you done spend 2 hours of your life just trying to get home. Mm-hmm. But when you at home, now you done found out your kids like doing shit. Oh shit, she likes puzzles. Like, you wouldn't have known that at work. You know what I'm saying? You raising your kids, you teaching your kids. Like, people, husbands and wives are meeting each other for the first time for real. Yeah. And I don't know if that's some of that domestic abuse has gone up, but for others, it's been like, yo, this has been a magnificent time for a lot of couples where they've just been able to be inseparable and get back to, like, the puppy love. They're honeymooning all over again. Right. People are definitely becoming better partners. Right. And here's the other thing that, for me personally, I'll say this. I got into a relationship that I just got out of probably yesterday, but 2 things happened. One was that longing for having a person played a major role in me saying yes to the relationship. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Because everybody's keeping to themselves so much, and I'm talking to this person all the time, and I'm like, man, she's dope, man. She's mostly dope. Let's just be a couple. You know what I'm saying? And then when the distance happens and you can't see each other and you can't go smash and you can't do all that other stuff, and I'm not so busy that I'm not even thinking about, like, when you get a chance to just sit down and even on paper going through the qualities of compatibility that you have, you can really now see, like, yo, we got some self-work to do before we got some us work to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And when
Mm-hmm.
I sat down and did my self-work list, there was a couple things on there. And when I sat down and did things that I would like to see change that would make her more compatible for me than she was already, I had like maybe 12 things. And so the distance provided the opportunity to reflect at that level and to talk about it on that level, and then to try and develop the tactics for doing the self-work to heal and get to that place where, you know, that person is a better person, blah, 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 blah. And the reason I'm not in that relationship now is because they threw in the towel on doing the self-work. Like, fuck it, if I'm not enough, I'm not enough. I'm like, well, I signed up to be with you while we worked on this, not while you reneged on your, you know, promises.
Right.
So that's where I'm at with it. You know what I mean?
Well, there
And
definitely has to be reciprocity in relationships. We can't put things or expect things from a person that we aren't first willing to do ourselves. So just on some, you know, homie shit, yo, I think that was dope what you did. I think it's big of you as a man to say, you know what, let me look at me first and let me see what I need to also do, even before asking that of the other person. So so kudos to you for that good move. Sorry it didn't work.
But I'll say this too, though. Like, let's say it didn't happen that way, right? Let's just say I said, listen, I have some things I would like to see change that would help us, I think. And I provide a list of however many things, one thing, two things, three things, or whatever, and share that. I would like a female who can take constructive criticism, or at least we can logically go through it with reason and talk about it. Like, well, I don't think that one's legitimate because blah, 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 or whatever. Like, it's not like I was like, it is this and you need to do that and fuck that. Like, it's like, let's talk about each thing and like, do you think this is a thing you could work on? Because no one's perfect. We all need, I'm sitting up here fat right now needing to work on that. You know what I'm saying? We all got stuff to work on. But I made a list of things that had nothing to do with physical. It was just like, these are things I think that will help us with compatibility. Now, I wouldn't even have seen those things if I was balls deep in her. I'd have just been feeling that, you know? And so I get that that's what women be talking about when they're like, you know, I want to kind of hold off a little bit till I really know them and all that. Like, I don't agree with that. I think you should just fuck. If you like somebody, fuck. But you got to be able to have the duality to do that without letting that all cloud your judgment, and you can't even see straight because somebody's dogging the shit out you in bed.
Right.
Like,
Well, sex definitely does put on a set of blinders for a lot of people. Sex would do that, and then we mistakenly think, oh, now I'm in love, still with those same blinders up. And if something goes wrong in a relationship, those blinders come down, and then it's like all this shit to the left, to the right. Like, oh, you've been like this the whole time. I didn't like the way you eat. I don't like the way you manage money. Oh, your butt stink on Wednesday, but it smells fresh on Thursday. It's like, oh, all that was here. No, all of that was there before. But you put those blinders up and weren't willing to either see it, accept it, acknowledge it, talk about it. Communication, excuse me, is such a big piece in your sex life, but then just in your life overall, and then relationships and handling them. So if you can't effectively communicate with me, then what we doing in the first damn place? Because like now, here we are, quarantine. You take away the sex, you take away the money, whatever else. What do we have left? Do we have a solid friendship? Do we have a solid base? Can we discuss these things? Can we still build together? Like, you're an entrepreneur. You're a man who makes moves. You have a vision. You have a direction. You need somebody who can add to, not somebody to just be with, but build with. That makes a difference. You know what I mean? And if you're not someone who's willing to have those conversations,
I'll go even further and say, let's say the person doesn't, let's say, I'll go a step further right there just on that point. Let's say the significant other doesn't have the same type of ambition that I have. You know, there's a way to still be compatible and find workability where the woman just respects that you do that business and stays away from it. Like, if I was a pilot and owned the airline and all that stuff, I don't need my woman to be up in the air traffic control tower. Like, but I do need her to still be an oasis and to still be like not a source of distress that comes from the stuff I am stressed out associated with that. You know what I'm saying? And to be understanding the most during the time away, to try and control that neediness and maybe fill that space with self-confidence and things that you can do and have fun. There's plenty of women that don't even need to be told that. They got puppies and yoga and hobbies and things like that. I wasn't in that situation particularly this time. And so I'm just saying that to say, like, for the woman that's like, yeah, okay, I date a hooper and I don't know how to do a crossover. Like, you don't necessarily need to. Like, you'll figure out your role. It's like, I just want you to come to Wednesday games, or I just want you to, you know what I mean? You don't got to be a team mom. You just figure that out. You have those conversations. You know what I'm saying? And it's about finding the most comfortable point for both of you, and hopefully those align, I think.
Yeah, so that's big, because it's going to be a lot of other people who may have had some of those same discussions these past few weeks. And after the coronavirus, either somebody's moving out, our relationships are also ending. But because I think that ending a relationship isn't always negative. Most times I like to look at it as a positive, because I'm going to take whatever it was I was supposed to learn, no matter the hurt or whatever the case may be. I was supposed to learn something there. Whatever I was supposed to learn, they're supposed to cultivate me to make me better for my next move, for my next plan, for my next relationship, for whatever the case may be. So I just take the positive side out of it, whatever I learned about myself, because you learn more about what you want and what you don't want with each relationship. Take that shit as a positive. Fuck it, be better for the next person.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the challenge for me, is because I tend to let a thing drag on too goddamn long until the other person says fuck it. By then I've already been like, yeah, when were you gonna say it? Jeez. Versus
Like, you gotta be man enough to say it too.
I mean, I don't know if it's man enough, because I'm a hell of a man. It's just, I don't know what it is. If that's something in me that's to just like, man, let's just let it run its course. Where I have other friends that are like, I don't like that, nip. I don't like that, snip. I don't like that, on to the next one. I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? And so it got to the point where I was like, I mean, there's got to be some other fish in the sea that have more compatibility, just how they were raised, or whatever their mentality was, or whatever their schooling was, or whatever their self-work was. But there's got to be, and that's the place you don't want to be in when you're with your person going, there's got to be somebody better than this. This, goddamn. That's the difference between grass is greener and just, dealing with a situation that's not improving fast enough.
But let me just say this. To be in a relationship like that and feel that way and question it in that way, but then not leave, you're only adding to your own discomfort, your own, I can't even think of the word at the moment. You have to forgive me, but it's stupid. Let me just sum it up in layman's terms.
Oh shit.
It's okay. That's stupid. You need to, when it's time to go, you should go. Because while you're spinning your wheels, you're wasting your own valuable time when it's unnecessary and you're not happy. I'm just maybe getting older. I don't know what it is, but if I'm not happy, I gotta go. I gotta go. And when you stay past that point, it's only to your own detriment. When you stay,
there you go. Detriment, I think, is what you're looking at. You end up hurting yourself because you stayed so goddamn long. And this is my thing, right? Like, ain't nobody getting no younger. Nobody's getting any more extra time on the clock.
Right.
So, I'm 36 now, and I'm not feeling a bunch of biological clock pressure like that, because my family isn't pressing. But it's like, you have to be cognizant that we aren't getting no younger. So who you spend your time with and how you spend your time is who you spend your time with and how you spend your time. There's a lot of people in denial. Oh, I just be over there fucking her. That ain't nothing. And you look up, nigga, you over there 3 times a week. Nigga, that's your girl. You know what I'm saying? And so we just have to be honest with ourselves and how we act. You know what I'm saying? And that's my whole thing, was just like, how long is a thing going to be not okay or almost okay? Or let's say it is okay 70% of the time, and then that other 30 is turbulent as shit. Like, ask yourself, are you hanging on to that relationship for the 70 times? Or, you know what I mean? Because them 30 stick out too, man.
Listen.
Old people be like, if that good outweighs the bad, but nigga, that's 51-49. That is not good enough for me.
Well, the rules are definitely going to change. After coronavirus, not only will the rules be changing for people's sex lives, the rules will be changing for comedy and how we receive things. The rules are going to be changing just on so many different levels. So it seems like though you're going to come out of it all right. Seems like you're going to be okay.
We'll see.
Look, I got faith in you, bro. I got faith in you, bro. You're going to take your list, your self-work list, okay? And we going to find you somebody that is amazing, okay?
We'll
So
see.
it's the description, all of that. So first, thank you so much for being on my show. Absolutely love you. I think you are super, super funny. So I do appreciate you gracing the love below. If you could tell all the people how they could follow you, follow your twerk circus. And I know you have your own show that I'm sure will be back on after the virus. And you've told everybody about the comedy club. Go ahead and do your spiel, bro.
So if you want to check out the comedy club, go to superfunnycomedyclub.com. I need to mute this phone, this computer. Everybody's blowing me up. If you want to check out my own stuff and what I hope will be my actual schedule for touring, you can go to natejacksoncomedy.com. If you just want to be generally entertained, you can go to my Instagram, instagram.com/Mr. Nate Jackson, or just at Mr. Nate Jackson. On Tuesday nights at 7, I do this event called the Twerk Circus. It's fun, crazy, wild, and just it's much more than just butt cheeks. Please bring a couple dollars for the dancers and maybe 50 cents or something like that for me. As far as where you can catch me, you can watch reruns of Wild 'N Out. I'm on season 8A, season 8B of Wild 'N Out. I'm on enrolled for season 9 of Wild 'N Out, and I'm on True TV's Laugh Tracks that's running right now. And HBO right now is re-airing Def Comedy Jam. I'm on there as well. So fact with me. This wasn't as funny as I usually be off. I'll be on 10 and firing people up and roasting and all that, but she caught me coming off a serious, a heavy ass call. And so that's the tone that we at with it.
Well, listen, this show is not roasting, and
it
it's
says
not
the love below.
right.
The logo is cut off, but what we can see is sex talk. It says that. We don't know nothing else.
People know the name of the show.
Nobody is rubbing one out to this episode. I just want you to know that. But my favorite position is doggy style. I prefer to talk after we do it. You get it.
So thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm going to